I noticed like there were people like, what? I think that's the reason. And also like the AAV isn't that high that it's going to punish you. I don't think like it's those other deals. I think the other thing too is like there's a big change going out in the Bruins. Like the team has finally turned over from the Chara, Bergeron, Marchand years, right? Like Marchand was the last of that group, really. Now it's McAvoy, it's Pasternak, and those guys are really good pros. Jeannot is like a guy who always tests very highly in fitness. Like he won it like every year, I think, in Nashville. Like he's a good pro. So I think that's, what's that?
I was going to say he's got 2 fitness awards named after him during his junior upbringing.
Right. So like people in Boston could decide if they like this or don't like this, but I was really curious about it because of just the reaction to it. So I wanted to explain some of that. I thought it was also interesting, like Boston's got a lot of flexibility cap-wise over the next few years. Like one of the guys I thought they might extend was Andrew Peeke, just because he's a right-hand shot D, and those guys are hard to find. And you generally right-hand shot D, especially Peake's age, like he's 27, 28 years old. If you have any kind of season, you're going to get a good deal. But Boston's going to have some cap flexibility, and I think they want that. I think Boston is one of those teams, and they're not the only one, that if some of these guys who are supposed to be free agents next year, whether they get one or not, I think they want the opportunity to be in position to take a shot at some of these guys. So if you'll notice, they didn't really do much to hamstring themselves in the future. Like they got Arvidsson, 1-year deal, right? Traded for him, gave up a late pick, 1-year deal. Like aside from that, they didn't, like aside from Jeannot, they didn't take any massive swings, especially after they did it last year. They have flexibility in the future, and I think they wanted it. The biggest win for them to me is Hagens. As someone said to me, you're picking 7th in the draft. This is a guy who was the #1 prospect for 2 years in a row. You take him. And I think that's a big win for the Bruins to get him.
Yeah. BC guy, familiarity within the marketplace, and the potential to be a heck of a player. The other thing too, like Don Sweeney after July 1, suggested wants his team to be a harder out. So I don't know. Are they going trying to be the big bad Bruins again? I'm not convinced of that. Maybe they're a little ways off from being a contender at this very moment, but it just seems like with all the change, as you mentioned, the move on from that great era of Bruins hockey, there seems to be still a mandate from above that let's not lose touch of our roots here.
Well, I just think that if you really look at it, Kyle, like ferocity still matters. Maybe not as much in the regular season, but it sure does in the playoffs. Like if you're going to win the East, you have to go through Florida, right?
Yep.
Like you have to be able,
you got to go through
one way or another. That's right. You got to go. That's right. So, it matters. Like you have to, you have to go through there. But anyway, I don't know if anyone's going to like the explanation, but that was kind of what I heard out there.
To the Buffalo Sabres. So they made the Peterka move. He's off to Utah now. They bring in some other names. Justin Danforth, Zach Jones, Alex Lyon in goal. Ryan McLeod gets a 4-year deal. But what's going on with Bowen Byram?
So, Kyle, right off the top on Buffalo, Bowen Byram did not file for arbitration. The player deadline to file was Saturday afternoon. Now, the Sabres can file Sunday afternoon by 5 p.m. Here's the challenge for Buffalo. What they have to consider is if they do, the player gets to pick the term. So in theory, if Buffalo says, okay, we're taking Byram to arbitration, Byram can pick a 2-year award that walks him right to unrestricted free agency. Arbitration is 1 or 2 years. And if the team takes the player to arbitration, the player gets to pick the length of the award. Undoubtedly, the Sabres are aware of this, and this will go into their consideration. Like, one of the reasons that a year ago Boston didn't take Jeremy Swayman to arbitration was because they knew if they did, Swayman's agent was going to pick a 2-year award and walk him right to unrestricted free agency, and the Bruins wanted no part of that. The danger is you get potentially a negotiation like the Bruins and Swayman without arbitration there to scare anyone. It can really linger. So those are all the risks here, Kyle. Taking him to arbitration, you risk him taking 2 years and going right to unrestricted free agency. Not going to arbitration, you risk another kind of battle. And also, it does leave open the option of an offer sheet, whether or not anyone believes it's actually going to happen. So there's pluses and minuses for the Sabres to weigh as they consider this decision. Byram Peterka, I hear there's a slight difference. Peterka asked out. He wanted out. With Byram, I'm under the impression that he would play there next year. He's not against playing there next year. Peterka wanted to be traded. Byram, it's about the contract, okay? He wants, like any player does, a big deal. Apparently, I didn't see it. Apparently, there was a report that he asked for a trade. I heard that's not correct. He has not specifically done that. He switched agents, though, and that always means you're looking for something, and here it's the big deal. And, you know,